Hey everyone, it's Heather. We just wrapped up week 3 here at Bikram Yoga Teacher Training, and this will be always known in my mind as the week the cold came. It was cold at the start of the week here in San Diego, and in addition to that, the tent was a little bit cold for a few days here during the week. So cold that, you know, your towel was still dry at the end of class. So it was a little bit cold, and then also I caught a cold uh, towards the middle of the week as well, a little stuffy nose and some sneezing, which has now passed, which shows you the power of Bikram yoga. It's very healing. So I caught something, and it's now gone just a few days later. It could have just been my body detoxing and getting stuff out, but we'll call it a cold just because it fits with the idea, the whole theme of, the cold week. So it was a good week. We also, this week, we started our anatomy lessons with Dr. Jim Preddy, who is this wonderful man from Las Vegas. He's an emergency room doctor. He's a doctor of osteopath, and he also is an instructor at one of the schools in Las Vegas. I think he teaches anatomy or emergency room medicine, something like that. But he's also a Bikram yoga practitioner. And he taught us this week a little bit about the different systems in the body, the muscular, the skeletal, and the nervous system. And we have him here all of this next week for week 4 to go a little bit more further in depth into anatomy so that we can learn about the different parts of the body and potentially the areas that the yoga is actually impacting and healing. So it's important to know this stuff as a yoga instructor. So we had him this week and we'll have him next week. And I think he's such an awesome instructor. I really think that we should start a petition here at Bikram Yoga Teacher Training to actually convince Dr. Preddy to become a Bikram Yoga instructor himself, either next spring or next fall. Not only should he be just teaching medicine and teaching anatomy, he should really be a Bikram Yoga teacher. He would be amazing at it. I would pay $100 to take every single one of his classes. He's great energy, great enthusiasm, really knows what he's talking about, and it shows. So I really think that we should do that because he's just awesome. Also, this week, in addition to anatomy, we had more posture clinics, and I got to deliver 3 more poses. I got to deliver awkward, which is really long and not easy to memorize. I got to deliver eagle, and last night I also delivered standing head to knee, which is the start of the balancing series in the Bikram Yoga 26 postures beginning series that I'm learning to, or that I'm hoping to become certified to teach. And all 3 poses went really well for me. I had the dialogue down. Most of my feedback was keep doing the same. There was a little bit of a feedback to be a little more boss and a little less honey, which is completely reasonable feedback to get, because when you think about the Bikram Yoga series and you have the warm-up series, those first 4 postures, those should basically be a crescendo into the balancing series, which is what I'm now in with my dialogue. I'm now at that point. But your voice and your energy should really, as an instructor, crescendo, because you have the warm-up series. It's to get the body warmed up and to get the body, the joints loose and get things moving around. And by the time you're at the end of Eagle, you should have this crescendo of energy and enthusiasm and passion in your voice that by the time you hit standing head to knee, you should really fully be in, for lack of a better word, you should fully be into this type of bitch mode so that you are pushing the students and really instructing them to use everything they've got to really push themselves in that balancing series. So with standing head to knee, I was more boss. I probably could have been a little more bitchy, and I will certainly bring it for standing bow pulling pose and balancing stick. So people in my posture clinic, beware. I may be barking when I deliver those poses this week, but it was a good week and I had great feedback, and the dialogue memorization is coming much easier than I ever thought it would be, because I didn't really have any of the dialogue memorized before I came out here. I basically am memorizing it as I go, posture by posture. And this weekend I intend to get all of the next 4 postures memorized, because I will more than likely have to deliver all 4 of them this week. So I need to, and they're not short postures, they're pretty long. So I need to have them down verbatim and with, exactly how I intend to teach them. So that means using your voice, appropriate, using emphasis on words, knowing how to use your hands and motivate and use the energy that you have within your own body and your own voice as an instructor to really guide and push and inspire the students to do the yoga. So it'll be tough, but I will get all 4 memorized before Monday morning hits, and I will probably have to deliver the next one either late Monday or Tuesday. So it goes pretty fast. The posture clinics go pretty fast. And that actually brings me to a few questions that I have this week from someone. Someone actually asked, what is posture clinic? And posture clinic is, it's not, this person thought that it was where we do the poses, and that's part of it, but that's not really the most important part of posture clinic. That's just sort of a side benefit. Posture clinic is where we learn to teach the yoga. We have to come in prepared, knowing the dialogue, and we have to present the pose. We have to get up and recite the dialogue as we would in the classroom individually. We each have to do this, and people have to demo the pose for us. And so that and then you get feedback once you finish delivering this posture. You get feedback on what you could have done differently in order to inspire, to help the students along in executing the posture. So that's what posture clinic is. It's basically where we learn to become teachers and what we need to improve and work on, and it's incredibly valuable. We do demo the poses for each other when we're reciting the dialogue, but that's just a side benefit, and we don't really demo them to the full expression. I know last night when I was demoing standing head to knee pose, I didn't kick out because my legs were too tired, but it was, it's a side benefit. It's where, if you're doing a posture completely wrong, it will be picked up and people will correct you on it. But posture clinic is about the dialogue. Another person asked about the late night movies and lectures as a follow up from last week's question. They just wanted to know, how does it serve you as an instructor? And basically, as an instructor, you have to leave everything in your own life outside of the classroom and come into the classroom with energy so that you can guide the students through the 26 postures. And with these late night movies and lectures, you're basically having to do the same thing. You're staying up late, you're taking in information, and then you have to get up the next day and you have to go to class to do the yoga, and then you have to go to the lectures and learn more information. And then you also have to go to posture clinic and be able to deliver all of this dialogue as you would to students. And these late night movies and lectures are a challenge to you because they test you to see exactly, are you able to push everything out and actually come into this moment, to what you're doing right there, and actually do what you need to do and get it done the right way. So it really tests you as an instructor in that way. Can you zero out everything else and focus on what you need to focus on so that you can get the job done? And that just helps with everything in everyday life. So that's sort of the point of the challenges that we have with the late night movies and late night lectures. So that's pretty much everything that happened this week. I also this week got a really nice surprise at the end of the week. One of the people I follow on Twitter in the Bikram yoga world, Mommy Yogini, Joyce, came up here to visit some of her friends who are here at teacher training. So I got to meet her, and she's such a wonderful person and such great energy. So hi, Joyce. It was nice to meet you. I hope you come to teacher training someday soon. Maybe you'll come with Dr. Preddy. But yeah, that was pretty much everything this week. Week 4 will probably be more of the same from week 3. And then week 5, it gets really intense from what I hear, and things get insane and crazy, and I think that's when we'll really have a lot of the really, really late nights. So continue to send us all your good energy. Thanks for all the energy that you sent me this week, or you sent us this week, and I hope you guys have a great week. Namaste.